Public gathering places like schools, universities, concerts, shopping malls, and even movie theaters are among the highest targets when it comes to active shooter incidents.
So for the last, several decades, we've had active shooter incidents that have happened across our country, and St. George Police Department is taking a very active role in training our officers and getting them prepared for if this were to happen in our city so we can save as many lives as possible.
About 80 police officers from St. George and the surrounding area participated in an annual active shooter training event. This is the first time the training has been held at Utah Tech University campus.
So some of these people are right out of the academy, and there's also people that have been here seasoned for 20 plus years. So there's a wide range of officers that are from all skill sets that are wanting to learn how to react to these incidents.
Active shooters typically use firearms, and they choose their victims at random, objectively killing as many people as possible. That's why officers must react aggressively when stopping the violence.
But until an incident is secure and there's no more killing going on, officers are naturally going to be fairly aggressive, and that's what we train them to do. But we also train them to identify what the threat is and what they're doing and the actions that they're taking, and we make sure that they're practicing that in a very stressful environment. They're going to have opportunities where we put them through shoot or no shoot scenarios where someone could come around a corner with a cell phone, not a gun. And they have to be able to recognize and identify, is that a threat, is it not a threat, and what are my actions going to be?
The officers went through classroom training to discuss mindsets on what to do and how to respond. They used examples of past active shooter incidents that were not so successful.
Nobody took charge. Every one of you is a leader. It's a reason you're a police officer, because you are a leader. How many of you guys are a warrior, though?
Officers learned how to storm buildings, search areas for suspects, while at the same time protecting or evacuating would-be victims. They also learned how to clear the way for medical personnel to arrive to attend to the wounded.
So why we train is to try to avoid these officers from going into what we call code black response, which means they can't function. And what happens is your body's hijacked when you get an adrenaline rush, and your body stops functioning properly in a high-stress situation.
Because your brain's automatically going to fall back, what have I practiced, what have I done before? And yeah, they're very intense situations, but that's the reason that we try to train ourselves in those adrenaline moments to slow it down.
3 scenarios were given to the officers later in the day.
We have civilians here with us today, all right? And we don't want to shoot any of them.
One, inside the Cox Auditorium, simulated a dark theater where an active shooter begins shooting and an off-duty officer in the audience responds quickly.
So we would hope that our off-duty officers would analyze where they're going, and if appropriate, that they would carry off duty. And we encourage our officers to carry off duty, because you never know when they might be in a situation that they could help in a situation like that.
Another was a call to officers for help at a large venue where an active shooting was already in progress. Actors were chosen to play as victims in this scenario to create chaos.
They're called simunitions, and so they're fake rounds. They're like a paintball gun round or like a little plastic BB round that we use to train, and it helps induce stress, and they actually shoot things out of guns, and we'll get in little gunfights with role players and things like that, so that we can get as a realistic view of what we would be dealing with.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Is it scary?
So much fun.
Terrifying?
So if there's an active shooter, if the best thing that you can do is you can run, and if you can't run, you should hide, and if you can't hide any longer, you should fight. The response by police and other law enforcement must be quick yet calculated to stop the perpetrators.
Our third scenario is not necessarily a force-on-force or a scenario where they'll encounter a bad guy, but it's a scenario where we practice proper techniques of building clearing and entering rooms and clearing buildings safely and efficiently. And so our officers are able to do repetitions of how to best and most efficiently and safely enter and clear buildings and classrooms and wherever they might find themselves.
We're just working on clearing buildings as one officer. You never know what type of situation you're going to be in or active shooter scenarios are quite dynamic, so it's just a great refresher overall.
I think that this training is probably the most important thing that we do for our officers and for our community. It helps the officers to be safe, it helps our community to be safe because it gives them the opportunity to be in scenarios and situations that are frightening for them, they're frightening for our community, and it helps them to be able to think fast on their feet. What are they going to do?
At the end of the training, officers are evaluated by trainers and assess how they can improve on their skills. From Utah Tech University in St. George, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.